Chris Sutton says the blame game. I say he's a fud. Welcome back to Fog Football, and here he is continuously greeting about this Rangers motive wanting VAR. And let's just go into it, right? I kind of want to leave this in 2023, but it's elapsed into 2024. New year, same old corruption at the SFA. But let's see what Big Chris has got to say. He says the blame game with the same emoji that he did yesterday. Made that fid last night. And he's saying, what is Rangers' motive wanting the VAR audio on an irrelevant situation? Willie Collins' performance wasn't anywhere near as bad as Dessers and Cantwell, and maybe other clubs will want certain answers. Right, let's just talk about it, right? Absolutely. See the fact that how bad Dessers and Cantwell were? That should be an issue with Rangers, and that should be addressed. But just because your players are minced doesn't mean they don't have the right to appeal awful decisions that went their way. And here, this Rangers audio, if it gets brought out, which we're thinking on the 3rd, Wednesday, it will be the best of the league. It will be for the league. It's not just a Rangers thing. And here, Chris Sutton can allude to here that, maybe other clubs will want audio, and yeah, that might be bad against Rangers. Yeah, we look at the end of that Fireplay Cup final, of course, we did have Duke potentially getting wiped out by Butland. I thought it was one of those ones where it could have been given either way here. But if you know what, regardless or not, if you think it was a penalty, if Aberdeen want to get that audio, they're well within their rights. Even though it is like 2 weeks, 3 weeks out of date, if Aberdeen the day after wanted to get that information, that audio, then who the fuck am I, or who the hell is Chris Sutton to say no, you're not allowed that? If the shoe was on the other foot and it was on the Celtic side of things, are you trying to tell me Chris Sutton would come out and say this? Of course he wouldn't. Now, yeah, he is a Celtic man, so I'm not going to deny that obviously there's a bit of bias at play. But if Chris Boyd was coming out and spouting the same thing about Celtic, I would totally disagree with him. Because I think the audio has to come out. It was an absolute disaster of a decision. What people are glossing over is the offside is irrelevant. He's talking about an irrelevant situation. They didn't give it for offside, right? They gave it, but they didn't give anything because Willie Collins deemed it not a clear and obvious mistake. So therefore, that's the issue. There was no offside mentioned until half an hour later. That is 45 minutes later, whatever it was. That is the problem. Chris Sutton, part of me thinks that he's at the wind-up, and part of me thinks he's actually just delusional. He's fucking delusional. And, just for Celtic pundits to it's the boy who cried wolf, man. You see them before games, Alan Stubbs saying, that referee back in 1999 told me, see, as long as I'm refereeing Celtic Rangers games, you'll never get a penalty against my beloved Glasgow Rangers. What the fuck's that about? Alan Stubbs coming out with that shite. You've other people coming out with other pish. Callum McGregor last year. Rangers have got a lot of decisions. I think it's about time we get them. And ever since he said that, Celtic have pretty much got every decision for them in the Old Firm. You see him post-games in Europe talking about, there's just not the same leniency in Europe as there is in the Scottish Premiership. Come on, Chris. You're an absolute moonbeam. You're a weapon. Willie Collins is a tool. The incompetence is mad from the SFA. Big questions have got to be asked in here. Big questions got to be asked about Dessers and Cantwell. They were pants. But players' performances should be irrelevant to bad refereeing decisions. I don't see why Rangers aren't allowed this audio. Did Chris Sutton say the same thing when Liverpool get fucking shafted with that offside goal against Tottenham? Did he turn around and say, Liverpool shouldn't be worried about the VAR audio because Mo Salah and Luis Diaz were pants? No, because that's a piss poor argument for a guy that's just a troll. He's an absolute troll. But anyway, 2024, we'll see who's laughing in May, Chris Sutton. We'll have our own helicopter Sunday, a few decades on, and hopefully this wee prick will be greeting again. But until next time, peace.